From the guy who couldn't even buy a wand without a hand-me-down, to the woman who made Voldemort scream, to a curse breaker so dangerous he understood the dark arts from the inside. This is every Weasley's power ranked and explained. And while some spent their careers chasing political titles, others were out there wrestling dragons for a living. Number 9, Percy Weasley. Percy is the least popular Weasley. That's not a hot take. That's just arithmetic. Born in 1976, Arthur and Molly's third child, Percy, was the Weasley who decided the best path through life was to become exactly the kind of person the other Weasleys were embarrassed by. He got the prefect badge. He got head boy. He got a job at the ministry and spent a couple of years actively working against his own family. He did come back eventually. The Battle of Hogwarts will do that to a person. Here's the thing about Percy, though. His ambition was never magical. He didn't lie awake dreaming about mastering advanced transfiguration or pushing his spellwork to its limits. He wanted to be Fudge. He wanted political power, the kind that comes from titles, not talent. He attended classes. He got good grades. He did everything that was expected of him. That's not the same as going above and beyond. Percy is a capable wizard. He's just not a particularly interesting one. In a family where everyone else is quietly extraordinary, capable puts you ninth. Number 8, Ron Weasley. Ron didn't start from a position of strength. That's the honest read. His first wand was a hand-me-down, held together with a combination of tape and wishful thinking. His first chess match against a life-sized set nearly got him killed. His early chapters in the series are a masterclass in what untapped ability looks like when it hasn't been given any reason to wake up yet. But that changes. By the end of Deathly Hallows, Ron has survived things that would have ended most adult wizards. He's faced a Horcrux's psychological worst-case scenario and destroyed it. He's dueled Death Eaters and lived. He dragged himself back to Harry when he could have stayed away, which tells you something about the courage underpinning all of it. Ron's power is less about raw talent and more about what adversity pulls out of a person. The trials he went through with Harry and Hermione gave him real-world experience that most wizards his age will never accumulate in a lifetime. Without those trials, he might have stayed average. Because of them, he didn't. Number 7, Arthur Weasley. Arthur is the hardest Weasley to place, by a distance. He's the patriarch. He's an accomplished wizard. He spent decades at the ministry, worked active Order of the Phoenix assignments, and fought Death Eaters. That's not a background you accumulate by being mediocre. But here's the honest assessment. Several of his children eventually passed him. Arthur's strength is subtle. He's a transfiguration expert, a charms practitioner, and capable of conjuration, which is no small thing. Conjuration is considered among the more advanced disciplines in magic. He can duel. He has dueled. The soft exterior hides genuine edge when his family is threatened. What holds him back on this list isn't lack of ability. It's dedication of effort. Arthur spent his adult life building a home, raising 7 children, and obsessing over muggle plug sockets, not honing combat magic, not pushing his limits. He is a powerful wizard who chose to put that power in the background. His kids, it turns out, had other ideas. Number 6, Ginny Weasley. Don't let the films fool you. Ginevra Weasley, the youngest Weasley, Arthur and Molly's only daughter, is referred to explicitly in the books as an example of someone whose size gives absolutely no indication of their ability. Ginny grew up the youngest sibling in a family of older brothers, which meant she had to develop thick skin fast or spend her entire childhood being condescended to. She chose the former. By the time Dumbledore's army was founded, she was one of the fastest to master a Patronus charm. She was producing advanced defensive and offensive spells at an age when most students were still struggling with second-year coursework. In the Battle of Hogwarts, she held her own against Death Eaters. Adult Death Eaters. People who had been doing this for decades. Ginny's power crept up quietly because the narrative kept her slightly in shadow. Mostly the Harry Potter story, with all that implies. But the ability was always there. You just had to know where to look. Number 5 and number 4, Fred and George Weasley. These two get a combined entry for, well, obvious reasons, but they don't share a ranking. The logic is simple. George outlived Fred. More time, even marginally, means more refinement. More duels, more experiments, more accumulated knowledge. So Fred is number 5, and George is number 4. Born in 1978, sorted into Gryffindor, immediately a nuisance to the teaching staff and a hero to everyone else, Fred and George Weasley are possibly the most underrated powerful wizards in the entire series. The pranks obscure the talent. They're supposed to. From a very early age, these two were producing potions and spells that were flatly beyond their year level. The Weasleys' Wizard Wheezes wasn't a joke shop held together by enthusiasm. It was a masterclass in experimental magic compressed into a product line. The things they invented required a working understanding of potions, charms, transfiguration, and advanced magical theory simultaneously. And there's something else. There were two of them. Whatever one learned, the other had within days. Two minds with the same aptitude, operating as a single unit, constantly bouncing ideas off each other. That's not just nice to have. In terms of skill development, it's an enormous accelerant. By the time of the Battle of Hogwarts, Fred and George were among the most prepared fighters on the side of the living. Not because they trained like soldiers, because they'd been experimenting at the outer edge of magic their entire adolescence. Fred didn't get to find out how far that took him. George did. Number 3, Charlie Weasley. Charlie is the Weasley the story almost forgot. That was a mistake. Second eldest after Bill, born in 1972, Charlie attended Hogwarts alongside Nymphadora Tonks, which is already a signal that we're operating at a certain tier of ability. After graduating, he went to Romania to work as a dragonologist. Let that settle. Dragons are considered among the most magically powerful creatures in the wizarding world. They're not trainable in any conventional sense. Working closely with them, as a career, daily, for years, requires a level of magical competence, reflexes, and practical spellwork that most ministry wizards will never come close to. You don't survive dragon handling through charm and good vibes. You survive it because you're very good. Charlie's role in the Battle of Hogwarts was invaluable. He was present when Voldemort fell. He witnessed the end of the Second Wizarding War firsthand, having contributed meaningfully to the fight that made it possible. The quiet ones are usually the ones you should be watching. Number 2, Bill Weasley. Bill Weasley is the eldest child. Born around 1970, he was both prefect and head boy at Hogwarts, which tells you he was exceptional academically before he'd even started his career. Then, he became a curse breaker for Gringotts. Curse breaking is one of the most technically demanding professions in the wizarding world. It involves identifying, countering, and dismantling curses placed on objects by witches and wizards who specifically designed those curses to resist interference. That's not just knowing a lot of spells. That's understanding magic at a structural level. Understanding how curses are constructed, not just how to deflect them. The hazard profile of the job is brutal. Cursed artifacts, dark creatures, the occasional dark wizard who doesn't particularly want their cursed artifacts interfered with. Bill was skilled in arithmancy, dueling, transfiguration, conjuration, charms, spell creation, divination, and the dark arts. That last one is worth noting. You don't get to be a curse breaker without understanding dark magic from the inside. He knew it well enough to work with it. He's the most powerful Weasley child by most measures. Except one. Number 1, Molly Weasley. An argument could be made for Bill at the top, a serious one. But Molly's achievements don't allow for debate. Molly Weasley spent most of the series in the background, running a home, feeding 9 people on a budget that probably shouldn't have stretched that far, worrying about her children in the way only someone who truly understands danger can worry about people they love. She was portrayed as warm, nurturing, the emotional core of everything. She was also, at the moment it mattered most, the most dangerous person in the room. Bellatrix Lestrange is one of the most powerful dark witches in the series. She was Voldemort's most loyal follower. She had decades of combat experience and a complete indifference to the lives of people around her. She killed Sirius Black. She tortured the Longbottoms into insanity. She was not a person you casually stepped in front of. Molly stepped in front of her and won. The speed of it, the precision. One curse straight to the chest before Bellatrix even had time to register what was happening. Voldemort screamed. That's what the books recorded. Voldemort, watching his most loyal servant fall, let out a scream. That is the measure of what Molly Weasley did. She was skilled in dueling, charms, healing magic, potions, transfiguration, and the dark arts. She was powerful enough to beat a witch who thought she was untouchable. And she did it not because she had spent her life training as a fighter, but because she was protecting her children.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
That's not a fluke. That's what happens when you suppress extraordinary power for 20-odd years and then give it a reason to come out. Every Weasley on this list is talented. Molly is the reminder of what talent looks like when you genuinely don't care what happens to you, as long as the people you love are safe. If you want to know what happened to all these people after the Battle of Hogwarts, what Molly did next, where Ron ended up, whether Percy ever stopped being Percy, I've covered every major event after the Deathly Hallows in detail. It's all in the next video. Links on screen now.